We will explore using the Inference for a Population main app, and we can use this to find confidence intervals or perform hypothesis tests, as well as calculate minimum sample size requirements for any one sample quantitative data. Just like with many of the other apps you've already used in this course, you'll see that we have the option to use textbook data, or we can enter our own, as well as summary statistics. So if you have a list of your own data, you can enter that here. Summary statistics means that you have a sample in which you can provide your sample size, sample mean, and sample standard deviation for. For purposes of example, I'm going to go ahead and use one of the data sets from the course. So let's take a look at the TV hours data set that's here. You notice that you have a few options for what kind of plot you'd like to look at. It defaults to histogram and box plot, as shown here. You can modify the bin size if you'd like, though you're probably in this app specifically for confidence intervals and hypothesis testing. Just like with the proportion app, you're going to want to modify your confidence level to match the confidence level of what you're looking for. So go ahead and move that slider around depending on what your needs are. You also have the option here to show the t-score. So again, if you were performing this manually to construct your confidence interval, you could use that t-score, which reflects the degrees of freedom based on the sample size of this data set. You can also show more descriptive statistics. So if you wanted your 5-number summary, you could grab that from here. If you wanted to perform a significance test, also known as hypothesis test, then just like with the proportion app, you would have to give the null value and then decide if this is one-tailed. If so, is it less or greater? And then is this two-tailed? So that's your 3 options there. So less than, greater than, or two-tailed. Now, the null value in this case, let's say we're talking about the amount of hours that Deltec students watch. And maybe we took a sample and found that Deltec students watch a mean of, I don't know, let's say 2.938 according to this, right? But then there's a national study done that tells us something else. Maybe it says that college students watch a mean of 3.1 hours a week. So what I could do here is compare Deltec students. Let's say we took this survey reflecting Deltec students, and I could compare that to the national average. If I wanted to do that as a two-sided test, it just means I don't care if it's more than that or less than that. You'll see that it shows me my null and alternative hypothesis, my test statistic value, which is a t-score in this case, and then the respective p-value. Remember that you're going to make your decision based off of the p-value and then whatever significance you'd like. So if you were testing this at 1% or 0.01, if you will, then that would be a very different result than if you were testing this at 5%. Before you even got to this point, you should have already decided what level you were going to test this at. You cannot decide the level based off of the results of your test. So please do keep that in mind. Before you got to this point, you needed to already have that in place. For finding sample size, you'll see this also looks just like the proportion app, that you can specify what margin of error you want. Being that we're not dealing with percentages, it's not bound, it can be whatever. So let's say that you want 95% confidence with a margin of error of, I don't know, 500. Let's say we're talking about money maybe. And then you need to provide some type of guess for the population standard deviation. So let's say that they were publishing some value about national salary for a manager. And let's say that the standard deviation was $3,200. So you'll see when we include that, then it's going to tell us our necessary sample size right here. So if this were to change, let's say that it's less or more than that, you'll see that the sample size will change as well. Thanks for watching.